Not tired of being weak. Not tired in the motivational quote way. Not tired like I needed a break. Tired in the way that makes something inside you snap. Tired of looking at myself and knowing I wasn't living up to my potential. Tired of knowing I could do more but choosing comfort instead. Tired of promising myself I'd change tomorrow. Tired of losing and pretending it didn't bother me. Tired of making excuses and calling them reasons. Tired of watching other people win while I stayed exactly the same. This isn't a hype story. This is what happens when self-respect finally outweighs comfort. There's a moment most people never talk about. That moment when you realize the enemy isn't the world, it's you. It's your habits. It's your laziness. It's your fear. It's the part of you that keeps choosing easy over right. And when that realization hits, it hurts. Because now you can't lie anymore. You can't blame anyone else. You can't pretend you didn't know. You knew. You always knew. You just didn't want to do what it takes. Weakness doesn't announce itself. It hides. It disguises itself as rest, as balance, as I deserve this. It tells you you'll start later. It tells you one more day won't matter. It tells you you're already doing enough. And slowly, quietly, it steals your future. Not in one dramatic failure, but in 1,000 small decisions. You don't wake up a loser. You become one by choosing comfort over discipline every single day. And the worst part? You feel it. You feel it when you look in the mirror. You feel it when you avoid challenges. You feel it when deep down you know you didn't give your best. That feeling eats at you. It turns into self-hate. It turns into anger. It turns into frustration. And eventually, if you're lucky, it turns into resolve. Because one day, something breaks. Not your body, not your mind, your tolerance. You stop tolerating your own bullshit. You stop tolerating excuses. You stop tolerating being average. You stop tolerating weakness. And you say it, not out loud, not for anyone else. You say it to yourself. Never again. Never again will I let comfort decide my life. Never again will I quit because it's hard. Never again will I lie to myself and call it peace. That's where this starts. Not with motivation, not with inspiration, but with disgust. Disgust with who you've been. And a refusal to stay that way. Weakness feels safe. That's why it's dangerous. It keeps you warm. It keeps you comfortable. It keeps you small. Strength is lonely. Strength demands sacrifice. Strength demands that you do what you don't feel like doing. And that's why most people never become strong. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the right moment. That moment never comes. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall potential again. And slowly, something changes. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. You start trusting yourself. Because you keep your promises to your excuses stop sounding convinced mission to become better. Never again will you beg motivation to show up. You move whether you feel like it or not. Pace is different. Your priorities are different. Your tolerance is different. You don't waste time anymore. You don't entertain bullshit conversations. You don't indulge comfort for the sake of fitting in. And that costs you relationships. That's the part no one warns you about. Self-improvement is isolating. Discipline creates distance. Growth creates separation. Not because you think you're better, but because you're no longer willing to stay small for anyone. And this is where most people fold. Not in the gym, not at work, but in loneliness. They miss being understood. They miss being normal. So they shrink themselves again. They soften their standards. They skip just this once. They go back. You don't, because you remember how it felt to hate yourself. You remember the frustration. You remember the regret. You remember looking in the mirror and feeling disappointed. And you refuse to go back there. So you keep going, even when it's boring, even when it's painful, even when progress feels invisible. Because you understand something now. Results lag behind discipline. The work always comes before the reward. Always. That's the law. And weak people break under delayed gratification. Strong people live for it. They know that every rep, every hour, every sacrifice is stacking quietly. They know momentum is building even when nothing shows. They trust the process because they trust themselves. And trust is earned through action. That's why disciplined people don't panic. They've already been uncomfortable. They've already suffered on purpose. So when life hits them unexpectedly, they don't break. They adapt. They execute. They move forward. Because they've trained for discomfort. They've rehearsed pain. They've practiced showing up when it would be easier to quit. This is where real confidence comes from. Not from success, but from knowing you can handle suffering. Knowing you can endure. You don't need validation. You don't need praise. Because you know what it cost. You know what you endured. You know what you overcame. That knowledge gives you quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't speak much. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. And that confidence is rare. That confidence is earned. Most people will never feel it. Because most people will never commit fully. They'll flirt with discipline. They'll flirt with growth. But they'll never marry it. You did. The moment you said never again to weakness, never again to betraying your potential. That moment changed everything. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming relentless. Relentless in effort. Relentless in standards. Relentless in self-respect. You will still fail sometimes. You will still doubt yourself. But you won't quit. And that's the difference. Quitting is weakness. Struggling is growth. There's a difference. And now you know it. So when life tries to drag you back, when comfort whispers your name, when excuses sound logical, remember this feeling. Remember why you started. Remember who you refused to remain. Because you didn't come this far to become weak again. You didn't suffer for nothing. You didn't sacrifice just to go back. You built this version of yourself intentionally. And you protect it at all costs. This is your standard now. This is your identity. This is your line in the sand. You got tired of being weak, and you never went back. Never again.